Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 2nd of September. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to show my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Okay, now, yesterday on the bigger picture, I was talking about the possible head and shoulders here on ES, and you can see that has broken down, and that's got a target in about the 63.80 area. We've also got a head and shoulders on NQ, and that's broken down, but that's got a target at a retest this low here just above 23,000. We had a 6-minute buy signal fixed there, and at the moment that's in the process of failing. RTY, getting a bit of positive divergence here, no particularly obvious pattern here, although we could, if we saw a bounce in this area, we could set up a head and shoulders there. On YM, as I was saying yesterday on the bigger picture, a lower low from here would kind of look like a bull flag forming, unless we could get down all the way down to here in about the 44,600 area, in which case we could be forming a head and shoulders. DAX and STX both went down fairly heavily overnight. On DAX, I was noticing this head and shoulders, which had broken down with a target in the 23,400 to 23,440 area, and at the moment, it looks as though it might reach that. Didn't have a pattern really on ESTX, although if we saw a bounce here, we could form a head and shoulders, but there was nothing really worth the mention. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts, and let's have a look at the hourly charts. SPX, we have a large possible double top here, but we're nowhere near the, we need to get down to 63.43. 63.44 really, for double top support, and we're not close to that. In the short term, we did have a potential head and shoulders, but it wasn't of any particular quality. The one on ES is far nicer. On the Qs, we had a possible head and shoulders here, and it looks like we're going to break down below that at the open today. That could take us lower. I've got to say, overall though, the setup for seeing a large retracement here is thin. I'm not really expecting to see an awful lot. IWM, we have got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed. Looks like that may well be reaching target today. And I think on the daily chart, I think we've got a daily sell signal too, but that's the only one that we're looking at. Possible RSI 5 sell signal break. Morning, Doug. So what are we looking at this morning overall? Well, we're looking at a bit of a retracement. There's not much of a setup to say that we're going to go down a long way, but you know, certainly a setup to maybe see some daily middle band test on SPX. I've got the daily middle band at 64.17, and that's pretty close to this double top support. Somewhat above, but we will see how that goes. But I'm thinking we may well see those tests today. The only one which is looking the weak on the daily middle band is this one. Yes, I was talking about yesterday on Qs on the bigger picture, where we have basically been knocking on the door of the daily middle band for the whole of last week, and that's broken this morning. And the obvious target for a move down would be the 50 DMA, which is at 561.65. And decent looking support there. So we shall see whether or not we get that. Right, not a lot to see on Dire. Bigger picture, we're looking at a decent looking little decline on DAX here, and we've got, hang on, wait a second. Right, looking at DAX, we have got a weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed, not an awful lot, that's fairly thin as well. Wondering about a possible bull flag forming here. Nikkei, we've got a fair amount of negative divergence, but the RSI 5 sell signal has actually made the possible near miss target. Thinking we might go lower here, we had broken below the daily middle band, and we'd also broken below this rising support trend line, albeit only slightly. All right, what's happening on DX today? Well, we seem to be just in a sideways consolidation, actually. We're trading in a range. So we reached the bottom of the range yesterday, and we've moved up. This isn't particularly encouraging for reaching this double head and shoulder target, which is down in the 96.8 area. So top of the range is up here in the 98.75 area. Wondering if we'll reach that and what happens when we get there. Not an awful lot to see on the other currencies. Euro USD trading sideways as well. Possible bull flag maybe on the GBP chart. USD JPY could be a bear flag forming, but a bit oversized. USD CAD has broken over declining resistance. Honestly, I was thinking this was probably heading off in the other direction, but it is what it is. All right, ZB. I'm starting to lean towards the downside here. I was talking about this channel yesterday. I was thinking we might see a test of this resistance trend line if we saw a bounce here. We didn't. Broke down below it. If this is a bear flag, which it was slightly large for, then we would have made the target at the retest of this low here. There's not really much reason for bonds not to be going down, and we've got a nice looking double top on ZN. So I'm thinking we may well see some decent follow through on that this week. Looking at CL, we've seen a nice breakup. This looks overall like a bear flag forming, and we're reaching the next resistance. I think I've got two big MAs at 66 and 68, so we've reached the first one. HO could again be a bear flag. RBOB, a bit too large for a bear flag. So waiting to see how this develops, but not really seeing anything strongly suggesting that we go further up. NG, we have broken up from this falling wedge. Could have a inverted head and shoulders forming here. Equally could set up a retest of this low. Either way, I think we might be bottoming out for a decent move up as we move towards the seasonally strong area of the year starting fairly shortly. GC, we had, sorry, I haven't marked it in. We got a 60-minute sell signal here, and that has delivering. I was talking about this looking as though we were going to see a bit of a retracement and then likely go higher, and it looks like we're starting that here. We've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed here on SI as well. Palladium, seeing a bit of a pullback here, possible IHS right shoulder forming. Platinum, we actually had this very nice looking flag, and it broke up and it made the double bottom target. So no particular reason to think this is going to go back and retest the low. We're seeing a bit of a pullback there too. HG, wondering about a larger possible bear flag forming. We will see how that goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at KC. KC, nice looking double top here. Might see some larger retracement here on sugar. Sugar, I'm more or less giving up on this being an inverted head and shoulders, in which case the obvious next move would be a retest of this low here in the 15.9 area. Looking at CC, continuing down for the moment, but this could be the second low of a double bottom, so I'm watching this area carefully. On CT, wondering about a retest of this low after a fairly hard reversal after this double bottom broke up. Thinking that might be the second low, might well be the second low of a double bottom. Lumber, we've seen a really nice move down from the highs. We've almost reached main double top support because it's a big double top. I'm thinking this may go down a lot further. Possible 60-minute buy signal brewing. On wheat, we have looks like it's leaning towards seeing a retest of this low, possible bottoming action on corn. We've got an IHS which is broken up here with a target in the 441 area. So watching to see whether that can make progress. On soy, looks like a little bull flag forming here at the moment, setting up a retest of this high. On ZL, obvious next target would be a retest of this low, but there's no actual pattern here to get us there. Hidden, well, nothing really. That's so leaning towards seeing that low retest at this stage. We'll see how that goes. Live cattle, nothing really saying this is turning around. So not on a very nice strong uptrend. HE, we've reached possible trend line resistance, which I'm watching. Wouldn't be surprised to see it go higher. Possible 60-minute sell signal bring. All right, just to recap on equities, we've got a little head and shoulders here. I was talking about it in the bigger picture last night. That's broken down. It's got a target in about the 63.80 area. Now at the moment, looks likely to reach it. On NQ, we've got a head and shoulders broken down here as well. Not as nice. Target is a retest of this low here, just over 23,000. 60-minute buy signal was fixed and is failing. We've not got much of a setup for this to go a lot lower, but we will see how that develops today. I'm not quite sure. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any particular news this is based on. I would have thought, I mean, we had the stuff about the, Trump's tariffs being mostly ruled illegal last week, but that's had a weekend, and this is newer than that. So Maybe this is a reaction to the news that Trump's now made $5 billion since he became president, which is most impressive. Most presidents don't make quite as much money being president. All right, so we will see how this goes. We're seeing some weakness. I think this is led really by the Europeans, which have been leading the way down. We shall see how that develops today. All right, great. Let's have a look at questions. Yeah, no worries. We've got, I'll just take you through, hang on, wait a second. I'll just take you through the hourly charts. Right, SPX, we haven't really got, the main thing I'm watching here is we haven't really got a smaller pattern here on SPX, but we have got this large double top here. I've got the double top support at 63.4386, and if we can sustain break over that, should get us down to at least 62.12. That is a possibility here. We haven't got an awful lot of divergence setting that up. We've only really got an hourly and possible daily sell signal brewing on IWM. But watching that with interest to see how that develops. You can see, yeah, we're almost reaching the ES target, but there is definitely scope for more downside. There's just not an awful lot supporting this move down in terms of signals and patterns to get us down that far. So we'll see how it goes. All right, mate, no worries. All right, brilliant. In that case, I'll catch you everyone tomorrow. Everyone take care.